how do you create something that's supposed to be really exciting and helpful for first generation college students when you don't even know how we're going to finish the school year? All right. So that forced us as a school district, and for me to learn how to be creative and creating something brand new, and then making it better year to year. And so this picture that you see was a college tour last spring at the College of Charleston. These are our current seniors. Not all of them are pictured, but we have 27 seniors, but I think there's probably about half of them, a little over half in that picture, and some staff members in the front. So let's talk a little bit more about our mission and vision. And so the reason I'm sharing this with you is that as you think about your creativity and creative innovations, right, you have to know your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? And so I send a staff email weekly to everyone on my team on Monday mornings. And so in that email, I always leave what we're working towards. So our goals for the year, some things we need to be thinking about as a team, because I want it to be front of mind, as opposed to like, oh, we put together this really nice plan and we had this mission and vision. We talked about it back in August. We started school August 9th, but we don't really talk about it until you start doing stuff at the end of the year. No, I want us to be thinking about it and making decisions through the why, like why we do what we do. This is a junior that's in the picture. She's a junior at Lexington High School. She plays basketball as well, and she's just a great student. Charlize is an awesome student. And so we're always talking about how do we make our culture better? How do we make sure people feel like they belong? How do we collaborate with amongst, from peer to peer, from staff member to staff member, and then that intercollaboration between adult and student. And then our vision, what do we really want to see? What as a result of our work? All this time we put in, all this thought we put in, all the collaboration, all of the creative problem solving that we do, what do we want to see long term? And for us, it's that generational impact. If you think about being a first-gen student, I know we got some first-gen students on this Zoom this morning. What did education do for you? How did it help you change your life, or maybe even change your family's life? And so we always talk about some of our kids, when they leave us, this is going to change generations, because now they're going to go to school more than likely debt-free. So and more than likely we got seniors who have full scholarships. And so we already know anything that's above, your room, board, tuition, that's not loan money, that's free money to be able to live comfortably while in college, and to pay some bills, maybe get a vehicle like me. I got my very first car from my overage, my refund from school. After I paid my tuition and my books, I got now I didn't say it was a new car, but I got my first car. It was a 95 Dodge Neon, and it was 1995 when I got it. But education helped me do that, right? So I tell kids those kind of stories of, you can do so much when you just work hard. Your academic performance is going to turn into financial gain, right? In the short term, but also long term. And I tell them, if you choose to have a family one day, you'll be able to provide for yourself, your family, where it's not that stress and that strain and that struggle. So that's a part of our why.
As I was introduced, I'm Sherry Smith. I'm so happy to be with you all today. I do work with the South Carolina Department of Education. As you all know, there is so much going on. I mean, not even just technology based, but so many amazing things happening in our state. So I'm thrilled to be able to share some information with you this morning. All right, hold on. Let me just change one thing so I can see this a little better. Okay. So you all know, right? So many opportunities exist, and we're seeing an influx of additional opportunities, looking at AI, obviously, and a lot of the careers, right? A lot of the things that we are informing our students on today, well, some of those jobs may not exist yet, like when they get out of school, right? But there's so much opportunity of STEM, obviously. Cybersecurity is one of the governor's initiatives. And then obviously the tie to our career technology education is huge, because that's where you really get a lot of those employability skills in practice. So it's not even that you have to focus on it, because it's part of the curriculum. So we know it's changing at lightning speed. As I said here, employability skills, being able to shake someone's hand, look someone in the eye, that is huge. And, so many of the students have those phones and all that's great, but, can you still converse? And we hear a lot of that from industry, the importance of that. This study, you may have seen this, is from Youth Science. I know you all will have access to these slides after today, but to download the entire guide, if you will, their State of the future workforce report. There's the bit.ly link. Y'all, it's awesome because you can look at this and it shows like aptitude, right? Like, do they have that ability? Do they have that drive to do something? And look at this. If you're looking at healthcare, obviously huge, computer technology, and you can kind of see the other areas. And these are areas that we have, obviously, opportunities for students in our state. And obviously, they can go outside of our state, but these opportunities we help prepare our students for.
Equipment and trucks, just like we saw in the automotive industry about 5 years ago when Tesla came out and they really hit the market. All that same technology is coming into heavy equipment and heavy trucks. And SCC recognized that forefront is upon us. And we wanted to not only educate students for the jobs that we have today, but the jobs that are going to be here tomorrow. So we created the Diesel Power and Emerging Technologies program, which we launched this past fall. With our new program, we launched in the fall of 23. We only offer this at the Cherokee County campus here in Gaffney. We had 1 month of marketing to get the first cohort, and in 1 month we got 10 students interested and enrolled with a capacity of 16. We talked to our industry partners and we realized there was a big demand for trained technicians. I probably get a phone call at least once a week asking, are you graduating anybody yet? Because we could really use them. Unfortunately, we're 2 years from our first graduation because this is an Associates of Science technology degree. But we decided to start a second cohort this fall. So we're going to offer an afternoon class to meet the demand. We're going to try to get 16 to 20 more students enrolled so that we can start to build that momentum. As some of you should be familiar with diesel, heavy tractor trailers, construction equipment, agricultural equipment, and most power generation right now is what we would consider diesel power. The emerging technologies is also, it's often a question I get asked. People say, well, what is emerging technology? Emerging technology is any type of hybrid drive equipment, which includes fully electric trucks and equipment, and any kind of alternative fuel. So whether it's propane, compressed natural gas, hydrogen fuel, biodiesel is considered an emerging technology because they are working right now on renewable diesel from some sort of algae that grows in the ocean that they figured out they could synthesize down to diesel fuel. The reason that we're really pushing this is because these trucks are on the road today. As of right now, I know in Spartanburg County, there are over a dozen fully electric battery operated trucks that run up and down this highway every single day. And right now there are only 2 technicians that can work on them. So as that volume of trucks increases, the demand for technicians is going to increase right along with it. A lot of construction equipment is moving this way because the confined spaces that we're working in, especially indoors, electric makes sense. There's no fumes. Nobody gets hurt from that kind of stuff. And fuel is one of the biggest costs for any kind of construction equipment. So if you can eliminate that, now your power bill goes up, but maybe it offsets. But when we had fuel at $6 and $7 a gallon, companies were feeling the pain.
All right, these kids are getting started, and this is what they want. So this whole thing about fostering productivity and a harmonious work environment is important to them. So my big ones on this one, you can read the slide as you like, but basically this whole thing about having a healthy work-life balance is huge. Not like the rest of us. As a boomer, I was like the ever ready, bunny. I just kept on doing whatever my employer told me to do. And that's not quite the case in this particular generation. The whole thing too is also one of my big things. Number 3 is they want feedback. Well, we need to give them constructive feedback. And that basically is getting the word criticism totally out of the vocabulary. But how can you constructively give them feedback on a daily and weekly basis? For me, I'm a feeler. So if you use the word criticism, I'm out of here. So you have to be aware of that when we work with them as well. So there's all sorts of different reasons. The whole thing about being transparent, being collaborative. I have a grandson who's in Minnesota, and he's always talked about his collaboration with people. So this is a very important thing. So the kind of the number of things, the whole, of course, of diversity and inclusion is very important. By the way, the state of Ohio, I'm working with the University of Cincinnati, now is changing it to other words because all of a sudden the government doesn't like those words. It's you know, it's semantics. But anyway, what I love I love this expression that I highlighted. One of my SHRM friends I belong to the Augusta SHRM group as well, which is the HR group. He spoke and he said, you know, I use the word web. It's kind of interesting, where everyone belongs. And I love that expression, you know, whatever. We just always, you know, it's like a funnel. You have to always, everything from hiring to all the training and development is you put out this big funnel and you help get people into the funnel, and then we can all work together. So that's kind of the visualization I have for that. Okay, and again, this whole thing about the environment and social issues is very big with the millennials as well.